Hey there folks, it's me, Carlos from Subway, here to bring you the quintessential movie critique via video format on Justice League: Crisis on Two Earths. Now you may be asking yourself, Carlos, why are you talking about a decade-old movie instead of a more recent and more relevant film? And to that I have to say, I don't know man, I just sort of felt like talking about this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, and I wanted to go back and see if these older animated movies still hold up like they did in my childhood. And holy shit, this movie is a lot worse than I remember.
I've got quite a story to tell you. Pants? Whoa.
So let's jump into a mediocre Justice League animated film.
Okay.
To start the movie off, we open up with presumably Lex Luthor and the Joker breaking into a facility to steal the quantum trigger, whatever that is. And after they do so, they attempt to escape when all of a sudden the Joker's like, "Go on without me. I will die to slow them down," and gives his life to slow them down for Lex. Which doesn't really make us feel anything, since we haven't had literally any time to give a shit about these characters yet, and there's already a self-sacrifice scene. I mean, I guess it helps set the tone of the movie to be more sad and depressing. Anyways, the Joker dies like a hero, giving Lex just enough time to escape. When, just kidding, the Joker commits an act of terrorism by blowing up a building full of people, just like the Joker would. But at least Lex gets out safely and... So you're telling me that the bad guys just knew where Lex was the whole time, like his exact location, and only now decided to gang on him in a dirty alleyway, instead of before. I mean, alright. And just as Lex is about to get gangbanged, he pulls out a gun that teleports him away. So the entire time, he had an easier method of escape, and could have prevented the death of the Joker. I mean the Jester, but decided to let him die first. Yeah, this is definitely Lex Luthor. Next up, we get a fun little scene of the Justice League assembling their base, where Batman jokes about killing the Flash, just like he would. And right after that, Lex spawns in and we see him nakedly awaiting the League at a police station. And after finding out he's actually a good guy from a parallel Earth, they take him back to the Watchtower and listen to his request. He explains that he was once the leader of a now iced Justice League, and that his entire plan is at stake. Like, the only thing preventing the crime syndicate from taking over are a bunch of nukes. So after hearing this, the League surfer mute and deafens Lex to discuss their plan. And obviously, everyone agrees since it wouldn't be Crisis on Two Earths if they didn't. I mean, come on. But out of everyone in the room, Batman is the one to say,
We haven't even finished constructing our new headquarters.
He's basically like, nah, I don't feel like it. They're not from our Earth, and I still haven't finished setting up my Minecraft server, so no, I don't want to save people. Now, honestly, what the f? Like, I'm a pretty big Batman fan, and to me, this is insanely out of character for Bruce. The man who swore to protect the lives of innocents all those years ago doesn't feel like saving people because they aren't from his Earth, and he's busy.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
And while they're discussing this, Lex just nonchalantly slides the quantum trigger behind some random machine without telling anyone what it is or why it's there. This isn't really important now, but it will be later, so just remember that. And because we haven't had a fight scene yet, the movie decides to shift into an 8-minute long slam fest. Like, I'm all for action in a hero movie, but this is just too long for a 1-hour special. Everyone just kind of watches Lex get tackled, and then Superman tries to be a cool dude, but gets his face punched and Kamehameha. James Woods kind of just vibes around. The Flash starts simping out, and then Lex just kind of decides, well, hey, we gotta leave, guys. And so that just segues into the crime syndicate sitting at their lunch table, as well as the QED, which is a giant bomb that Owlman is building to, I guess, destroy everyone except them. Anyways, while this is happening, we cut to the president's daughter talking about the crime syndicate at a press conference. Because they're the bad guys and what they're doing is bad, and we have to remind the audience that this is bad. And then this blonde reporter lady says,
"Isn't it irresponsible of you to be out here making speeches in direct contradiction of your father's policies?"
which is a little weird because we haven't met the president yet and we don't know what his policies are. And to wrap up her generic speech, she says some dumb shit about doing the right thing because it's right to do so. But like, the movie explained that the crime syndicate ices anyone who opposes them. So wouldn't rebelling against them, if you don't have any powers, be basically suicide? So now we cut back to our heroes, and Lex is like, we should coordinate planned and smart attacks against each member of the syndicate. And Superman says, no, not that. That's gonna take too long. We should just split up. And yeah, I mean, we're around the halfway point of the movie, so I guess he's right. Which means we get some fun action scenes of them bodying some goons. And after that, Lex and Superman decide to bully Jimmy Olsen a bit until Ultraman shows up, and then Lex decides to 1v1 him and kinda gets his ass kicked. Surprising, right? Until he whips out his blue rock candy and then states that he's been visiting other Earths to obtain it. Which makes sense, but why didn't he just get the Justice League's help sooner instead of gathering more kryptonite? Like, had he done that, he probably would have solved the issue way sooner and saved the Jester. Anyways, Lex slaps Ultraman's ass and throws him into jail. The end. But wait, because the president decided to release Ultraman because he wants to maintain his delicate balance with the crime syndicate. Yeah, I mean, using nukes to prevent people from complete world takeover seems pretty delicate. And the president also goes on about who would testify against them. And would anyone really need to? They're basically global war criminals. Now here's basically the most confusing moment in the entire movie. We cut to Superwoman and James Woods talking about the bomb. And she says to him, "You never wanted to blackmail them. You just wanted to kill them." And his response is just, why not?
Are you stupid or something?
Yeah, that's probably the same face I'd make if my boyfriend wanted to commit mass genocide. He then goes on to say, it's the only action that would have any purpose. And are we sure this is a kid's movie? Because James Woods starts explaining the multiverse and how to him everything is meaningless because on another Earth they've already made the opposite choice. And that one Earth out there is the original Earth that all others come from, which he calls Earth Prime. Now if you haven't noticed how insane this man is, his next decision will really sell it to you. James Woods wants to destroy Earth Prime, which will then cause every other Earth and supposedly each other universe to stop existing. Because it's the only real choice he could make. Like, excuse me for a minute. When I say, what the f***? This guy wants to end all of reality because everything is meaningless to him. So if that's the case, then why even bother? If he decides not to do it, then another version of him will. And at the end of his insane rambling, Superwoman just decides, yeah, I'll help you end all reality. Like, I really don't understand his stupid reasoning. If nothing matters, then why even do it? It doesn't change anything. Who the f*** wrote that scene? Let's just move on before my blood pressure gets too high. We now cut back to Batman, who hasn't done shit for like the past 40 minutes, setting up the watchtower with a Gundam suit on, when all of a sudden, he gets an alert that Superwoman has breached the facility, except his alarm goes off before she even spawns in. So I guess the only real reason Batman didn't get to help was to have him partake in a fight scene. Or he does one of the least Batman-y things I've ever seen in a movie. He shoots this guy in the face with a gun. Like, are we sure this is Bruce Wayne and not Thomas Wayne? And also, Batman gets sexually assaulted in this movie, but whatever. And before we continue, who here actually remembered the quantum trigger? Come on, be honest. Because apparently it's the trigger to the bomb that James Woods is using. So I guess Lex didn't find it important enough to tell the League until the last third of the movie. And he explains that the reason he couldn't destroy it is because it's made of pure energy. Now, I'm not a super techie guy myself, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a detonator. Like, aren't they supposed to be made of electronic components? I'm not even sure it would work if it were made of pure energy. Anyways, the movie is almost over, so I'm just gonna brief over until the ending. So all of a sudden, we get a random ass scene of the Martian Manhunter and the president's daughter flirting in the back of a car. She tries to kiss him within a span of 30 seconds of them talking. Like, the only other scene we really got of them together was when the Martian Manhunter saved her from the Red Arrow. Like, was that supposed to indicate any romantic development? All he did was make her not die. And then the Justice League flies to where the bomb's being held, and everyone fights their counterpart, which is actually kind of cool to see all the differences and similarities between them. They're roughly evenly matched actually, and it's a kind of fun scene to watch, up until the short fight between James Woods and Batman. They hug some shit at each other, until James Woods decides to fold Batman. He then escapes using the teleport gun, and Lex is all like, shit, we can't go after him unless someone really fast goes fast. And I'm just too exhausted to complain about that right now. So Not Flash goes super fast, and Batman jumps into a yellow hole to fight the raid boss. James Woods spews his villain monologue about why he's right about destroying all of reality. Batman calls him a fucking idiot, and then proceeds to get his ass kicked. Again. Like, what is this Batman so weak? He barely puts up a fight in this entire movie. And to end the movie off, he defeats the villain by just blowing him up. Yeah, I'm not lying about this. Batman saves the day by killing James Woods. So to recap, this version of Batman refuses to help innocent people, uses a gun to shoot someone, gets sexually assaulted, and ends the movie by just icing the bad guy. To top off the bullshit scale, right before he explodes, James Woods says,
It doesn't matter.
so if it didn't matter in the end, then why the f did you try to kill everyone? 3 out of 10. I don't know what narcotics I was smoking as a kid to get any enjoyment out of this, but it must have been pretty good.